What's up, everybody? It's Exact Change Only, doing something a little different. This is a game I like to play in my downtime called R.U.S.E. It's a World War II real-time strategy game. As you can see here, I'm the blue guys. This is my base here. Here's my ally right here. This is a 2v2 match between these fine people here. They're playing as the Germans. My ally is also playing as the Germans. I'm playing as the Soviet Union. So, yeah, I haven't done a video like this, so we're going to just get right into it. I'm going to commentate this battle, do a little spectating. We're going to speed it up a little bit. So, these trucks are going out. They're going to build different bases. I have a barracks, produce infantry, supply depots to grab their supplies. My ally is acting accordingly, building bases and buildings to his own accord. Our opponents are following suit. Now, the early game here, I went with an airfield at first because, you know, I want air superiority during any kind of open conflict. If you own the skies, you can dictate the terms of the battle. So what I did was I built the airfield. I built a single fighter because I don't know how to play this game very well, and a recon truck. We have this river here dividing the map in half. So it really creates three choke points. These three bridges, one here, and one here, to get across the battlefield to control one side or the other. We have the city of Torgau right here in the center. Controlling that city is very useful. My ally has pushed some infantry up and is attempting to skirmish with our opponent right here in the city. They have spotted my airplane, so they are overreacting with an obscene amount of anti-aircraft guns. 4 guns to take down one plane. In this game, that is ridiculous, especially for an early war fighter like the Ishak. It's not a very good fighter. The reason I deployed it forward was A, to make them freak out, and to B, hopefully kill some of their supply trucks, like these Pioneers right here. If you shoot their supply trucks, it stops the building they were producing from being built, so, you know, you want to, interrupt your enemy. Looks like our ally here took out the enemy base. That's great. He's got this pretty hefty defense right here. He's got a Siegfried blockhouse, 4 AA guns. I've got nothing opposing him. If he had come across the river right here, I would have been done. But he's being very cautious. This opponent right here is being a little bit more proactive, deploying their infantry in a rather unique configuration. They're not sticking to cover, which is strange. Okay, these guys are in cover. That's why they're glowing red. These guys, however, are just normal and they're transparent. You can see how they're transparent. That means the enemy has deployed a radio silence ruse on the area. We can't, during the match, we weren't actually able to see these guys who are flashing. They would appear a solid red like this, and not a glowing red like that. Glowing red means they're concealed by the forest. Yeah, they'd appear like this when we can see them. So that Siegfried Blockhouse just uses flamethrower on that infantry, killing it. So my ally is just launching probing attacks, seeing what they can and can't get away with, keeping the enemy on their toes, forcing them to react. Right now, I'm just building up an air force. I have built 3 Sturmovik ground attack planes. These are fighter bombers that will go in and fire rockets and heavy cannons and blow tanks up. Look on the flank here. Our ally has put some recon trucks over here. I'm moving a recon truck up as well. My recon truck is armored and has a gun on it. His is completely unarmed. So I'm going to keep my armored truck in this position to cover this road. He's going to move his recon up to this valley up here to make sure they're not sneaking anything behind us. We cannot see what they're doing during the match. You can see right now because it's a replay, and you can kind of tell what's going on, but you're getting the full view of everything. So I launched an attack against his bunker, hoping to break it. I didn't quite break it. I need more aircraft, so my planes return to base. I build more. I'm really kind of slow in the early game. Right here, you can see I have built a ton of infantry, and I have pushed them up into their part of the city across the river. My goal is to make sure that they can't do anything silly like, I don't know, march right into my allies' base and take all of our stuff. So I plant this massive army of infantry right here. By massive, I mean it's just 18 platoons, so it's not a whole lot. They respond with deploying a bunch of infantry to the flank, and that makes me panic. I see what's going on, so I think... where is it? At some point I counter this, but I was a little slow in the draw. Had they pushed across the river, we would have been done for. They would have taken all of this. We may have been able to stop them here and at these roads in the back, but as you can see, there is nothing stopping these two hordes of infantry. Now, over here, let's see if can I go back? I can't go back. Okay, the enemy had a bunker right here, and I took it out with air attacks. That was far more interesting than what I was talking about a moment ago. I tried to surge forward, got really close to capturing one of their bases, but they have Tiger tanks right here, and a contingent of infantry to plug the gap, so I was unable to do it. But I'm regrouping for a second push. I got another corps of infantry ready to just push right through their defenses. I thought they had a lot of equipment here. I was wrong. Looks like they were just over here. This guy's just producing more anti-aircraft guns. This is astonishing how many he's building. So this is where I kind of felt like the fight was going to go in our favor permanently. Before this, I was a little, I don't know what they're going to do. They might do something crazy. But when I saw my ally had produced rocket launchers, these R.U.S.E, they're just half tracks. Zoom in on them. Yeah, it's just a little armored personnel carrier with rocket launchers on it. They do massive damage to unarmored units. When I saw he'd produced those, and that his Stuka dive bombers were killing Tigers without any real interruption, I was feeling pretty confident. So, oh yeah, so I tried a probing attack on the right, moved up my armored recon to skirmish with his infantry. Did not work out so well, but I tested what they would do. They have this huge stack of Sturm Grenadiers over here. If they had just pushed across the river, we would not have been able to stop them. Lesson learned, hopefully for them, be more aggressive. Here in the center, I have put my Reserve Corps of Infantry into action. 23 Gavardia. That's Russian, I think, for Guards Infantry. They're some of the best infantry in the game. Pretty darn good. They can match anybody else, any other nation's infantry, shot for shot. So what I'm doing back here is I'm building these fragile structures. These are administrative buildings. They help boost your economy. When these supply depots run out, and they do run out, you see they send these trucks to your base. When these supply depots run out, well, you have to live off the money your base produces. If you build administrative buildings, they add to the money your base builds, essentially acting as other bases. Your base produces 1 point for your economy every few seconds. These also produce 1 point for your economy every few seconds, or $1, whatever the value is. So the more administrative buildings, admins, the more of these you build, the faster your economy grows. My ally has built a few as well. So here things start to get a little interesting. I thought he had way more right here. So I was very, very conservative in my approach. I only moved my units up to this little tree line right here because I did not know if he had anything out of sight. I see they're moving these infantry forward. So I'm like, oh crap, I better dig in right here and just wait for backup. And backup arrives, Allies Air Force shows up, Ally brings in Tiger tanks. My caution here may have cost us an early win. I could have run right through their base. I don't believe they had that blockhouse up, and even if they did, I had Allied artillery nearby. But even at that, maybe it was a good thing I didn't attack because they're bringing Tigers up on the flank. We don't want to get cut off. But the handful of Tigers he did have didn't seem to matter. My ally is just bringing even more Tiger tanks up. I've got anti-tank guns in those woods now. We have a secure foothold across the river. Right. Now, on this end, I had built up a large infantry force and decided to storm the trees and push the enemy back. And they didn't give any kind of battle. They just retreated. They refused to fight me. I was shocked. This led me to believe that maybe they'd abandoned their main HQ here, and they just had their army to slow us down. I believed they may have been building extra bases in the back. That was not the case. But nevertheless, I acted underneath that assumption and deployed my troops to cut off their army over here by seizing these bridges and moving into position back here. That's what these guys are doing right now. Let's speed up just a little bit. I chased these guys back around here. They gathered a huge force to counterattack. I kept some skirmishers in this area to make sure they couldn't sneak trucks through, or any light units. And you can see we're settling into kind of a stalemate. We got infantry back here cutting out the supply lines. My ally is massing tanks on this end, ready to bust through the enemy flank. Now, they built a blockhouse here, much to my surprise, and that flamethrower on that blockhouse killed a lot of my infantry. But I saved a good number of them, deployed them accordingly. The encirclement is still standing. They are now trapped. And this is where I bring in T-34 tanks. T-34s are medium Russian tanks, still actually being used in some countries today. It's a pretty okay tank, gets the job done. They're cheap in this game, and they're all around a decent vehicle, so I produced them. And I can produce them faster than I can produce Tigers. I'm building my Air Force back up. I've launched a few raids since we last checked in with them, and they've been killing things, but they've also been getting killed by their anti-aircraft guns. They've got these Whirlwind armored anti-aircraft guns. These things eat airplanes for breakfast. I launched an air attack there. My tanks have come in, and now their base is completely surrounded. I was honestly just shocked at how easy they let me take their headquarters. They've still got this bunker right here. I didn't realize they were falling back to do an all-out defense of this base. That legitimately stunned me. But with that bunker taken care of, I start using this base for operations of my own. I start building their supply depots they never got around to building. I reorganize my skirmishers into a proper fighting force over here, ready to push in this direction in case the enemy was regrouping into the south. I think that's the west. Yeah, that's the west. There we go. This is the south, that's the north, that's the west, then we're coming from the east. So from here on out, we just slowly close the pocket on them. Wish I could turn this damn thing off. You could probably see that that's frustrating. But I've never done this before, so I'm not going to worry about that. But yeah, we just start massing troops, launching round-the-clock air attacks to soften them up. Their defenses are pretty thick. They've got several blockhouses, anti-aircraft guns, heavy tanks, anti-tank guns, and a massive reserve of infantry. My ally is just pounding them relentlessly with artillery to soften them up, and then I begin my main assault. I'm going to slow it down here. So, I came in first with my tanks, knocked out their bunkers, then my tanks go far right. Send my infantry up the center, my ally brings his tanks up the left side, hitting him in a three-pronged attack. He cannot figure out where to defend. A lot of things die right here in a matter of seconds. My infantry take 100% casualties in the area, but it is a total success. My ally has broken through. My tanks on the flank push up. His tanks continue the assault. I wish I'd had my air forces at the time, but they were rearming, so there was no using them. We push on their capital. Well, not their capital, their headquarters, and they have nothing left. We realized that this is all they had, and yeah, these guys have nothing to do back here. They try to organize for one last stand, but we get in there and we murder them all to death forever. But overall, it was a fun game. It's a good game. Just gonna slow it down. We'll just say those last guys surrendered. But yeah, this is R.U.S E. Fun game. No longer available on Steam, unfortunately, but it is on Amazon for $10, super cheap. I'm not a master of this game. I'm not even that good at it, but I do enjoy playing it. So I don't know if I'll do more videos like this. This was just kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. But if you liked this kind of video, just let me know, and I'll think about doing some more. But until next time, you guys have a good one.